Who was Tokyo Rose? Tokyo Rose was an American born in, I believe, 1916 in Los Angeles. She was of Japanese descent. She was in Japan, if my memory is correct, when the war broke out. Ultimately was used as utilized by the Japanese government as a female propagandist. So the Japanese were broadcasting radio shows in which Tokyo Rose was saying things that were deliberately used to demoralize Americans, to try and get them to quit, or the soldiers that were interred in various Japanese camps were hearing these messages, many of which were lies. The long story short is that after the war, I think it was 1948, the Americans had her brought back basically in handcuffs and had her tried for treason. She was sentenced to about 10 years in jail, served around 6 years, and then got out of jail. She was pardoned by President Ford, and she died in 2006, at the age of 90. But she was considered a traitor. She was tried for treason because she helped the enemy. She helped the enemy that was committed to destroying the United States, to defeating the United States. All right? And she was tried. She was tried for treason. These 3 teenage girls are deliberately going to help a foreign enemy who is committed to killing English citizens. All right? Many of those people who have been beheaded have been English. And they have deliberately betrayed their government, betrayed their people, and put their religion first. Now, on one level, you can understand that if you're a devout Christian. Right? If you were called upon to deny your faith and be loyal to your government, or to defend your faith, I mean, look at the Cristeros in Mexico. It was a civil war that was strictly religious. All right? The communist Mexican government tried to shut down the church, and then Catholics, faithful Catholics, said, no, it's not happening. And they took up arms against the government. Okay? So those of us who are Christian can understand how we would not allow ourselves to be used to suppress Christianity, and we would turn against our own government. That's what these girls did, but not for the truth of Christianity, not for the love of Jesus Christ and his church, but for the murderous principles of Muhammad, of Islamic terrorism. All right? So if these girls 3 months from now, 6 months from now said, we want to come back, what do you do? There's 3,000 people that the State Department pretty much knows are with ISIS. There could be thousands more. We don't know how many Americans, Brits, French, we don't know how many are with them right now. They're getting training. They're getting battle scars. They're learning to deal with hostile fire. They're learning to risk their lives. They're learning to protect their Islamic brothers and sisters. In other words, they're getting burned in. They might have left green and visionaries, but when they decide to come back, they're going to come back as seasoned jihadists. Then what? Part of the problem is that we don't know where they are. We don't know what they've done. It's not like they're taking a flight to Damascus. Most of them are entering through Turkey. They're going to Turkey and then traveling over the border into Syria. So we don't have evidence that we could convict them of a crime. They're going to be questioned when they come back. Where have you been? I've been in Istanbul. Doing what? Oh, just sightseeing. It's a great country. You ought to see it. In other words, these are American, English-speaking, American accent Muslims, English, French, German, who have gone to become a part of ISIL. The question is, what happens when ISIL, the Islamic State, says, we're sending you back now. And on this date, we want all of you to launch simultaneous attacks for the glory of Allah. Okay? These ladies, what do we do? Look at these teenage girls. What do we do with them? What does the British government do with them when they come back? What if they're sent back to recruit people? What if they're sent back to be suicide bombers? What if they're sent back to run safe houses for Islamic terrorists? What if they're sent back to provide material support for terrorist organizations by raising money? They have to be viewed at this point, at least at some level, they have to be suspected of the crime of treason against their country. It's a tough one because it's about evidence, about a fair trial. I get all that. But people, there's trouble brewing. There's trouble brewing. And President Obama is foolish to even suggest that this is about money. This is not about money. It's not about what they hate. It's about what they love. They love Islam. They love Muhammad. And they are willing to do unthinkable deeds against innocent people because according to Quranic law and Sharia law and Muhammad's life, they're not innocent people. They're rebels against Allah and must be dealt with as such. Do you want to get America out of the hands of wicked and unjust men and women who are destroying the republic before our eyes and put leadership back into the hands of righteous men and women so that we don't die as a nation? Well, you're talking about social revolution, and there are rules in social revolution. We can look at the victorious social revolutions of the past, such as the end of slavery, the end of child labor, women's voting rights, the end of segregation, and so much more, and learn from their victories. Look at their actions, their images, their rhetoric, their sacrifices, and their final fruit. We will send you this series that originally cost $129, 7 books for students, 1 teacher's guide, if you'll give a gift of any size and just pay for shipping and handling. Take advantage of it today.